So there's this sentimental saying that you can recover everything you lose. You can recover everything you lose. And it is mostly used to, encourage people not to give up and to keep, putting in the work to get what they want. And it is true. It is true. Anything you've lost can be recovered. It doesn't matter what it is, opportunity, relationship, and you name it, anything that has eluded you, as long as you put in the required amount of effort into going after it, into chasing it, be a passion, a dream, something that is dear to you. If you can put in the work, you can recover it. But at the same time, there are some things not worth recovering. Yes, there are some things that are better off left in the past so you can focus on your future, and get more for yourself and become a better version of yourself. So I'm going to list five things that are not worth recovering. And the first one is a fractured relationship with repeat offenders. Fractured relationship with repeat offenders. There are some people who have, stepped on your toes over and over and over again, but you keep forgiving them because of, some sort of relationship you've had with them. Maybe you've known them since you were young, you've done too much with them, and all of that. And it is all relating to something called the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy, whereby you feel that you've invested so much into something, so you can't afford to lose it. Well, I'm here to tell you that if you don't let go of that relationship, if you keep allowing them to keep coming back, the thing you are meant to avoid will keep happening over and over and over again. So you must learn to cut people off who are repeat offenders. Learn to, forget about everything you've invested into that relationship, what you've done to build it up. You must learn to detach, because if you don't detach, you keep finding yourself in a situation and in a spot that you should have grown out of. So learn to cut off repeat offenders and cut them off for good. Now, the second thing that you should lose forever that is not worth recovering is a previous version of yourself. It doesn't matter how much you like a former version of yourself. If you find out that you've outgrown it, then you should learn to leave it in the past. The truth of the matter is, you are going to have a whole lot of versions of you. Yes, you're going to like some more than others. You're going to detest some. You're going to wish you want some back. But the truth is, you will keep growing. And you must also remember that every version of you that you've encountered, every version of you that you've played and created for yourself, is what has led to this current version of you. And this current version of you and the past version of you is what is going to create the future version of you. So it doesn't matter how glamorous that former version of you is. What is going to happen is you're never going to encounter it again, and you're just going to use it to create a future version of you. So learn to live that version of you that you've outgrown in the past, so it doesn't affect your future negatively. Learn to move on. Yes, you can pick the good parts and the interesting part of it and use it to shape your future, but don't wish, to bring it back or to hold on to it for longer than you should. And another thing you should leave in the past and not recover. Something else, that is the third thing that I feel is not worth recovering, is the dead end professional investments. Yes, a dead end professional investment. It may be businesses you've done, it may be ideas you've had and tried to execute, it may be investment, it may be careers that failed. You should also learn to leave them in the past if they are no longer working. Yes, you may feel like, oh, you should prove your resilience by trying to hold on to this, by trying to prove that, okay, you don't just give up easily. No, you must learn to recognize when it is time to walk away. Yes, if you don't find out and discover for yourself a time that is meant where you are meant to walk away, then you are going to, keep burying yourself deep into a hole you are meant to have gotten out of and escaped from. You don't want to end up in a position where you have no way to bounce back up. No, don't put yourself in that kind of situation. When you've done all you can and you found out that this career, this business, this investment, this idea is not going to work out, dust yourself up and move on. It is not the end of the world. Don't keep going and burying yourself further into a hole where you're not going to resurrect from. Learn to move on. Yes, it is easier said than done. It can be difficult to move on, but you must move on because it is necessary. The things you've learned are not going to go to waste. Yes, there are a lot of people who have done a million, gone into a million businesses that didn't work out, but one eventually worked out. And the experiences they gather along the way help them to shape whatever business they are into. So when you discover that you found yourself in a dead end investment or a business or a career or an idea, learn to move on from it and use the ideas and the creativity you've gotten to shape your future and the next thing you go into. So another thing that is not worth recovering that you should let go, number four, is arguments where you are always right. Yes, as as we learn more, as we get better, as we improve ourselves, it is always interesting to find out that yes, we are right on a particular thing, on a particular idea. It is always interesting, it is ego boosting. It makes you want to do more, it makes you want to perform more. But you must learn to know where to draw the line. You can't always look for situations where you are always right. You start playing into your ego's game. You start playing into your ego's game, and if you let your ego get the best of you, then it will be the beginning of your downfall. When you start looking for situations where no, you must have the final say, you must always prove yourself right, you start deviating from the things that you are meant to do. You start focusing on something else that is not going to help you advance your goal. It is going to become you focusing on something entirely different from what you are meant to achieve. So stop trying to be right at all time. No one can be right at all time. Always learn to know when you are right from when you are wrong. And when you are wrong, take a step back. If you are meant to apologize, do so and learn from the experience. There is nothing wrong with being wrong. Yes, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. We are meant to learn every day. We're meant to improve ourselves. We're meant to become better versions of ourselves. And you not being willing to admit that you are wrong, is going to get in the way of what you want to achieve. And the final one here is being physically being attached to objects with negative shadows. Yes, I will explain that. When you are attached to physical objects with negative shadows, they may be objects or properties that has a lot of value, that may be expensive. And what I mean by objects that have negative shadows are objects of values or properties rather that remind you of a past pain or a past trauma. You get, there are some objects that you see or properties or things of value that you have around that will remind you of something that has happened in the past that caused you a lot of pain and a lot of trauma. And you may be holding on to them because maybe they're expensive, or maybe you just feel that there's some value still attached to them. I'm here to tell you that you should let them go. Yes, let them go. Because if you keep holding on to them, then you keep holding on to the past and you keep looking for a reason to justify whatever actions that you're going to take based off your traumatic experience. And if you keep taking actions based off your traumatic experience, it automatically means that you are not growing and you are meant to grow. So you should do whatever you can to cut yourself up from such properties and such objects. Sell them off if you have to, or discard them one way or another. You should free yourself. Yes, you must free yourself if you want to grow, and cutting yourself off by discarding these items or selling them is one way to go. So here you have it. These are 5 things that you must detach from, and 5 things that are not worth having, that are not worth bringing back. Yes, there are some things that you can recover, but there are some things not worth recovering. And these 5 things are among the things that you should, let go forever. Best of luck.